All right. Well, welcome to the very first Sysco at-home virtual cooking class. My name is Matt Wilson. I am one of the regional managers for Sysco at Home in the Ottawa area, and I'm actually joined today with Chef Marina, one of our corporate chefs from Sysco, Ontario North region. Marina, how are you today?
Doing well.
Nice. So I'm actually gonna start off with Sysco at Home. What is Sysco at Home? How did it all start? So Sysco at Home really started at the beginning of the pandemic. We realized that households were in the grocery stores with empty shelves, tons of empty shelves and lineups, and they just needed and wanted a safer way to get groceries. So we quickly got Sysco at Home up and going to assist in that right across Canada, 15 locations. Then it turned into, wait a minute, we can actually provide something really spectacular to customers, and that is restaurant quality foods at home. Once we got that up and going, we started really playing with the assortment, and I think that we have a really good curated selection now. Marina, what did you grab today?
Well, so I've got a case of our 6-ounce chicken, and it comes about 24 chicken breasts to a case. So sometimes I think that can be a little intimidating. So that's why I wanted to bring this into my home and show you what I would do with it. So I'm just going to have a video play of when I first received it and kind of took it out so you can get a sense of how big the case is and how to cook it as well. And then we'll pick up from there.
Okay. Yeah, let's run the video. Nice. So, Marina, you said in that case, there's approximately 24 chicken breasts?
Yep, 24 breasts. And I'm going to be showing you what to do in that case. You can always do more. It kind of depends on how many eaters you've got in your family. For me, I've got myself, my husband, and a 5-year-old picky eater, and then a 16-month-old that really just gets the scraps. So for us, 12 is fine. It's a good start. And we'll go from there. So I'm going to share with you what I like to cook for my family. It's kind of like, what's for dinner? You know, it's hard when you're cooking a lot more. I think we all experienced that once the pandemic hit, and you're not wanting to go out to the grocery store as much. So I tried to figure out a way to make sure that we're using a lot of ingredients that are similar, but we're going to have a lot of different flavors, and it won't feel like you're having chicken 5 nights in a row. So my first one is a meze platter. So this is really great because Sorry?
Hold on. What is meze?
Okay, so meze is a sharing dish from the Middle East, and so that's why you'll see things like pita, hummus, some pickles. It's kind of fun. It's kind of almost like a charcuterie style dish, but meant for the family. So we've got some naan here. This is really great. You can keep it frozen as well. It's really critical to have some frozen items. And then you can just figure out what your family likes with it. So my daughter loves hummus, so that's what I put on it. She also eats cucumbers. So anyway, she'll eat greens is how I'll get into it. Oops. There we go. I love pickled red onions. So I try to keep some pickled red onions in my fridge at all times. It's pretty easy to make. I don't know if you've ever made them for home. Matt, do you like to make pickles?
Pickled red onions?
Pickled red onions. Yeah, it's really
You know
simple.
what?
You just
Actually,
slice up some
you
red
see this?
onions, maybe apple cider vinegar, maybe rice vinegar is my favorite, just a little bit of sugar and water. And you're gonna have a nice, sweet, crunchy thing that will last for months in the fridge. And be also really nice on some other dishes as well, and we'll get into showing you some of that. So,
I'm actually gonna, I'm gonna, Marina, I'm just gonna ask our producer just to turn down the music.
come on, Jay.
There we go.
I got it.
Thanks, Jay.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So Marina, the idea of this is you cooked off what? 12 of the breasts?
12 of the breasts, yeah.
So you cooked off 12, and now you're going to be making 5 different dishes, while keeping the other 12 in the freezer. But you're not going to have to cook chicken throughout the rest of the week.
That's right. Yeah. So super easy. Get you home or after work, or close the laptop if you're working from home, and then you can in 20 minutes really have your dinner ready. That's what I like to do, because I like to have a glass of wine while I cook. I don't want to be doing a ton of prep during all of it. I want to be able to enjoy that time with the family and just get dinner on the table, enjoy it together, but ultimately have some time to myself at the end of the day too. So this is a great way to get that done.
Yeah, let's hold that up to the camera there.
Which ones? So I have some bell peppers, cucumbers, naan or pita, or in the summer when I could access my grill, not so much today with the snow, but I would grill up some pizza dough. That was always really great. Supposedly my daughter's favorite bread, so we'll see. But and then
amazing.
Some
So I will say, Marina, you brought up earlier, working from home and your family, and the one thing about my family, so my wife owns a restaurant, my daughter's 17. At the end of the day, when everybody gets home, all I hear from my daughter is, "Really, chicken again?"
Awesome.
Just because it's easy, it's a go-to. However, this dish that you just did, I'm thinking that she may not be saying chicken again because it's such a small piece. However, it's the main protein.
Exactly, yeah. And you're wanting to bring in other flavors and textures each time as well. I mean, the chicken, obviously, yeah, you want some protein, you want some meat. That's great. But the chicken could also be, like, I do this style of dish with pulled pork, braised beef, eggs, honestly, fried eggs, if I don't have any meat. So all the dishes, actually, I'm showing tonight, you can really interchange. It just kind of is a great way to quickly get something on the table and still kind of have a hot meal. So yeah, and have it be a little bit different, because yeah, chicken 5 nights in a row, it can get a little fatigued, if you will. But if you present it differently, if you kind of add some different flavors, look to different regions for those flavors, it can really help. So this is the first dish.
Yeah.
And speaking of
actually,
that,
you know what? Can you just go back to the camera one more time?
Yeah, for sure. So let's see here. We've got the naan, some feta cheese, mint, pickled red onions, our chicken, of course, cucumbers, and bell peppers. And you can have fun with it.
Amazing.
That your family likes to eat. But these are kind of good cues to go off of, and a great way to get that started. So
amazing.
Next.
That looks delicious.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm not going to eat every dish because, like we said, we've got 5 to get through, and I'd have to sit down if we were going to do all 5. So,
yeah.
Up next, we're going to do a cold soba noodle salad. So this one I really like. It takes very little protein, actually, because you're using soba noodles, which is a buckwheat base, and so you get a lot of protein from the noodles themselves. So I'm only
where would I get those noodles? Soba noodles?
Yeah, soba noodles, like, honestly, they're at Loblaws. I don't, depending on which grocery stores you guys are going to, but Loblaws and TNT are now owned by the same people. So a lot of these Asian ingredients are available there. So I try to keep that in mind for, if your Loblaws might not have a great Asian representation, I tried to still pick some items, but buckwheat noodles and then the soy sauce and sesame oil and hoisin I'm using, you can get pretty much everywhere.
So if I don't have a soba noodle, can I use like a regular pasta? Can I use like a linguine?
I don't know. For this one, I wouldn't recommend using linguine. You could use rice noodles. Sometimes those are a little bit easier to get. You could order those online even, I would say. Soba noodles you could probably order online as well.
Perfect.
So just for that type of thing, but I would stick with more of an Asian style noodle. Just when you're doing cold, I find that the linguine and those Italian types of pastas don't always work out as well.
Perfect. Okay.
So right now I'm just pulling this chicken actually. And again, when you talk about, chicken every night, it's good to kind of show it in different ways. So the first one was sliced, and that's honestly kind of nice too for when you first bring it out of the oven. But for when you're serving it cold, pulling the chicken is also really great. And then I'm just going to get some hoisin soy sauce. Now, there are some marinades like Korean barbecue, things like teriyaki sauce. Again, use what your family likes or what you have easily accessible. Whenever somebody asks me what's for dinner, I'm like, well, what's in the fridge? Because I don't want to go shopping. So for me, this is what was in the fridge. Some hoisin sauce, sesame, and soy. So we'll just mix that up.
Okay, so hoisin sauce, sesame oil.
Sesame oil, yes, thank you.
And soy, okay, all right.
And it was the very exact measurements of eyeballs. So you're not going to break it. It's not going to be wrong. Find the marinades you like if you don't want to have all of these ingredients. I know for my kitchen, it's like 20% Asian ingredients in there, and the rest are more Canadian. So I have these things on hand, but if you don't and you don't want to have the 3 different condiments, then grab one. It's really great right now to have that offered. So here we have our chicken, nice and marinated.
Oh, hold on. Our producer's really slow. There we go.
Sorry, there we go. Our chicken.
Perfect.
There we go. So at this point, you could have done this the night before, thrown it in a bag or a Tupperware and put it in the fridge. You could even freeze it at this point, again, if you wanted to do that. But since we're doing the magic of TV right now, we'll keep going. So, like I said, I kind of like to cross-utilize some ingredients. So I've got cucumbers again on this one. I'm going to do the pickled red onions because that's my personal favorite. Then I've also got some avocado. Didn't get the ripest avocado. I really prefer to peel it. All right. Okay, so we'll just throw our noodles in here. So these were cooked for about 4 minutes if you haven't worked with soba noodles before. And then you just run cold water over them. They're all set to go.
Okay. Now could I do these in advance? Like the noodles, can I cook them maybe the night before for dinner the next day or no?
For sure, yeah. No, actually these were cooked last night as well.
Okay,
so
perfect.
again, cold water. I threw sesame oil on it. You can just do canola oil, and that would be totally fine.
Yeah, I just love the idea of, when you're buying something from Sysco at home, like a big box of chicken breasts like this, being able to plan so many meals so easily, right? So doing things in advance, for example, you're baking off all the chicken breasts, and you could have grilled them, you could have, pan-seared them, whatever, but you bake them off. But then, the noodles, doing those the night before, and just the easy menu planning, because I'll tell you, working from home, it sounds like it's really easy because you're here at home, but I find work kind of moves into that prep time that you used to have, and now you don't have that prep time. So if things are done in advance, it's so much easier.
Absolutely. No, I find the same thing. I mean, it's so funny. I used to be out on the road when I was working, and I realized, oh, I forgot to pull something from the freezer for dinner, you know, whatever. And so I'd call my husband, who always worked from home, and he would be like, okay, no problem. And now I'm working from home. I still forget to pull something or anything like that. And now I just don't have dinner ready. So this is good because you have all of your chicken cooked. It's all ready to go. And that's what I've been leaning on these days. So just like that, this dish is done. We have our soba noodles. I put cucumbers on it again. We have some green onions, cilantro, pickled red onions, and our chicken. Now, I just wanted to show you next to here, if you can see that one well. So
wow,
this is 2 chicken breasts, and this is still like a great amount to be mixed into the salad for a single portion. So really great usage of the protein and not having to use too much. And then this is a soup base, and it's a lot of soy, some vinegars and sugars. You can also make a nuoc cham, which is actually my personal favorite for this dish. But again, if you're wanting to just kind of grab something from the store, I think it's so nice to be able to do a mix of, you know, made from home, scratch, and kind of the prepared things that can, you know, just save you some time. So there we are. And then you just pour that in. You want it to have like a little bit of a pool at the bottom to really season the noodles. It's a very salty dish in that way. But you also don't want it like overflowing, so it's not quite like a
all right, I gotta see this. Yeah, lift it up there.
There you go. So you can see there's just a little bit. They're just kind of swimming in the sauce. Yeah.
It literally took you no time. That's amazing. Exactly. That's really,
well, and that's
really
just
impressive.
it. Is like you saw me do the chicken. Like again, when that comes out of the oven with all the others, you can quickly do that. Throw it in the fridge, and then you saw how quick this was. So no problem. All right. Well, so when I committed to 5 dishes, I kind of didn't realize the calculations of my counter space. It's getting crowded. But next we have taco night, so we've got to get there. Let's move a few things around here.
Okay, so tacos are a favorite with everybody.
Yeah, wonderful dish.
No,
super
now this
easy.
this is still the roasted.
Sorry. Yep, this is pre-roasted chicken.
This is still the roasted chicken that you're using?
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is pull this as well, actually. So I'm going to use 3 breasts for this one. And you're just going to see me pull the chicken. It doesn't have to be pretty quick, you know, quick and easy, quick and dirty, as I like to say, for getting dinner out on the table. So do that. I'll turn on this burner. And so when you have this chicken pulled, you can store it as that way, just frozen or refrigerate, or you can marinate it in some taco seasoning now. Again, look to what you have available in your fridge. I like to do just salsa. Now you can make your own salsa. That's great. I just bought one. Again, I'm trying to think about saving myself some time. And again, like, you know, like I said, I have maybe 20% of my ingredients are Asian, so that's what I've kind of committed my pantry storage to. But I don't have as much Mexican or Latin ingredients. So having these ones where it has all the seasonings and flavors all ready to go, that's kind of nice to save just on some storage in my house. Especially when you're getting, you know, a 4 kg case of chicken. Storage matters.
Yeah.
So we'll just let that heat up. And
now, Marina, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So you got this case of chicken from Sysco at home. Now, did you find overall? Obviously, you took half and you roasted it all up. What about the other 12 breasts? So do you need to leave it in the big box? Like, is it in a bag? Like, what would you do with it afterwards?
So yeah, so it comes in a box, And then I think in the video you saw that blue bag it came in. So what I did is just kept the blue bag. I got rid of the box. It fit in my freezer pretty well after that. Not too much space it's taking up. So that was kind of my reasoning behind that. Again, you could do this where you baked off all of the chicken. And then again, it's that much easier to store. And it does kind of provide another little bit of ease for when you're looking for what to get. So while this is heating up, I'm making just a quick salsa actually, as well, a little pico de gallo style. So I like to put charred corn in mine. I use cherry tomatoes that we used in our meze platter, and then I have scallions that I used in the soba noodle. But I'm using the whites now, and then I've got a lime, and that's.
Can you actually lift that up one more time, and we'll get Jay to zoom in on that one.
So it's about 50-50 corn
nice.
to tomatoes. I just like doing that also because my corn is frozen. And again, what I had never embraced frozen produce so much as when the pandemic hit and I was wanting to go to the grocery store every 2 weeks. And frankly, I wouldn't know what was there sometimes. Like you said, the shelves were empty for a while. So when it came to fresh produce, I didn't always depend on it. So that's why I started working with a lot more frozen, and I figured out which ones I liked and which ones, worked well for many dishes or just kind of had a good feel and flavor.
What's funny is, when you talk about when the pandemic hit and products that just weren't in the grocery stores right away, I had some of my best friends actually jump on Sysco at home to order some groceries. And at first they were like, what am I going to do with all this frozen cauliflower? What am I going to do with all this frozen broccoli or even the chicken wings? Only to see that, about 4 or 5 weeks later, they're reordering, not necessarily, broccoli or cauliflower, but the wings or chicken breast they're using, just because they realized how easy it became to prepare meals. They just started scheduling stuff.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. I did the same thing. I placed a couple orders from Sysco, and what we did was actually split with another family. So like a couple cases were on the larger side, but between two families, it was no problem. We got something like 4 cases of bagged milk because we both have young kids that just inhale it. So there we go. Just do a couple more here. So when you're doing this, I like to kind of do it as a build your own at the dinner table. So we actually have like a crepe pan, and we've never cooked crepes on it, but we've made many quesadillas, many taco nights. So it's a great way to just get that going. But you can also heat up your tortillas just prior and serve them that way. And then you put.
So you're saying
your spread here.
You're saying that the crepe pan that everybody got for their wedding, that's sitting in the back of the cupboard.
No,
it's
honestly,
great to do quesadillas and tortillas.
That was one that I didn't get on my way. So yes, there is the registry, like prerequisite things that you get, of course. But honestly, when you're a chef and your husband is also a chef and he doesn't know what to get you for Christmas or your birthday, you get a crepe pan or you get an ice shaver. These are the things you get. And I'm like, just give me an Amazon gift card. Just go ahead, do it. But he's a good guy. I should have.
I just want a weighted blanket.
Sorry?
I just want a weighted blanket.
Yeah.
That's all.
It's not too hard. But yeah, that's just it. We're a couple that both cook, and so all whenever somebody, the wedding registry was absolutely 100% kitchen items. But that's great. We use it all. And hey, now I'm here cooking at home for work, so came in handy for sure. All right, so here we're coming together on taco night. So again, this is a really great dish. I think sometimes I find that I have a lot of these, build your own, build at the table dishes. And I think it's because, I have a 5-year-old who can be a bit picky, but I have 2 adults that are less picky and want to have that food and, all of that. So these can be great ways for, everything's at the table available, but,
Sure.
we all get to kind of have what we're wanting. So great way to do that. So here we are.
All right. I can't wait to see this.
All right. So corn tortillas. There's our chicken that's been heated up with just some salsa to give it that nice flavor. The corn and tomato pico de gallo, some fresh cilantro on top of there. There's avocado underneath that you might not see. And then you just have your cheese and your sour cream on the side for people who want to add it. And it's a great go. And the kids like it.
Oh, so simple. So simple.
So simple.
Yeah.
A lot of these
And
dishes,
again,
just quick and put
what
together.
I think that when I look at the dishes, sorry.
Nope, you go ahead.
No, I was going to say, when I look at the dishes that my daughter says, oh, chicken again, it's really because on the plate you have that chicken breast. And that's what they're looking at. They're looking at that chicken breast, chicken again. So when you do it up in the taco like that, with the salsa and the pico with the corn, and that, they're not thinking chicken again. They're thinking, oh my God, it's taco night.
Yes,
and what a simple, easy way to do it. That's brilliant.
That's exactly it. I tell when I pick up my kid from school, I'm like, hey, we're having tacos tonight. And she knows that means cheese quesadilla because still somehow with like 2 chef parents, she just wants cheese and bread. But you know what? We're working our way through it. And we have tacos a lot. So it's great. Nobody's complaining with that. And that's true. It's like the visual difference can kind of help sell it to any of your picky eaters at home. And then we're going to go to another crowd pleaser, chicken Alfredo. So you can make your own Alfredo sauce. You can buy one, which is what I ended up doing today. And then we're just going to slice up. I'm going to do 3 breasts. I've still got 2 more for our soup later, a little teaser. And this is like a really fast one if you're buying the sauce especially. It's so simple to just heat it up. I threw some peas in this one anyway to hide, some vegetables among pasta is always great and handy.
And again, you could be making the Alfredo at home, or
Absolutely.
You could just go out and buy the Alfredo. Sure. Okay. Yeah,
absolutely. No, I've done both. It just kind of depends what I have going on that day at work. Whether Matt's told me to, you got to do a Sysco show tomorrow, and I'm like, well, I guess we're having a pre-made sauce tonight, guys. Just depends. But here we go. So these noodles I cooked off before. Of course, if you're doing this that night, you're probably just getting everything ready to go. But I did happen to cook these ones off before. And you know what? Maybe you do have a work week and a short window. So yeah, you can do this before. Get it ready on the weekend. Have this all ready to go. It doesn't take up too much room in your fridge. It's very possible. It's very cost effective, all of this stuff, because we've overlapped so much. So now I've got the Alfredo sauce and the chicken heating up. I'm just going to add some noodles. I've cooked for like 15 years. Oh God, maybe more.
Yeah.
And I still always make the wrong amount of pasta. I know there's like a calculation, but it's just, that math is lost on me. Let me just find my spoon. So, here we go. So we have the fettuccine, Alfredo sauce, the chicken. Again, so fast, so easy. You can add your own cheeses at this point. personally, I always like to lean on fresh herbs to kind of just jazz up something a little bit different. You saw that with the taco night where I had fresh cilantro and the fresh tomatoes, like just a little bit of fresh produce to liven things up and brighten it up, make it your own.
Yeah.
So I have peas in here. That's another frozen favorite of mine. But I also have some fresh oregano that I'm going to add.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, one of the great things about this dish, I will say, is that there's always pasta in most pantries. In my pantry at home, there's always boxes of pasta, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that fettuccine. You know, my
Absolutely.
daughter, she loves the pennes or the fusillis. So if we were to do this dish, we'd probably do a penne or a fusilli and then bake it with cheese later on, just because why not add more dairy?
Always. It's important to lean on the comfort foods right now. Absolutely, more dairy. All right, there we go. Now we have a very nice chicken Alfredo. Don't think I'll plate this one just because, it's pretty big. This is honestly how I would serve it at the table, is just right in the pot.
Wow.
And have people grab at it. Yeah, so just a nice, easy one. It's the type of dish I would make on a Friday, especially because that's when I'm most exhausted and just want to get dinner done and enjoy that glass of wine.
Yeah. Sit back with a movie.
Exactly. Yeah, everybody just relax, gear up for a nice weekend together. Right now with the snow, it's nice to have a hot, warm, stick to your ribs kind of meal. All right. Now we have our last dish, and this one, it's chicken soup, obvious classic. And the only thing I'll say about this one is that you could absolutely have prepped it the first night you made it. For instance, I cooked the chicken yesterday, and I made the soup base yesterday. I could have done what I'm about to do now and just frozen it. So kind of nice to just have those in your back pocket. So for the chicken, I'm just going to do a simple dice. Nothing too fancy there. Pretty simple. I do have carrots, peas, corn in there as well. Again, I don't do a lot of recipes because then I have to have specific things in my fridge, and that's where I get challenged. Is like, I need to make sure I have this or that. No way. I'm just gonna wing it a little.
You know what, Marina? That's a good point. I do find that at home we get caught up in a recipe. We get caught up in what am I going to do now? As opposed to what do I have? And when you have the main protein in this situation, the Sysco classic chicken breast, when you have that main protein, the sky's the limit. You're doing 5 dishes, and we're 30 minutes in. You've done 5 dishes. It's a different way of looking at it, as opposed to walking down that grocery store aisle saying, okay, I need this, I need this, I need this, and looking at your phone the whole time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and I find I'll just end up throwing things out because I had to buy a certain amount, but my recipe only called for a quarter of that, and then you throw out 3/4, or you never really use it. Ends up just taking up real estate in your pantry. It's just not ideal. So I like to do it this way. I mean, it's always fun to try a new recipe, try out some new things, but again, when you're cooking now every night at home for your whole family, nice to do some things that just make sense for the operations of your home. All right, so I've just added some fresh parsley and the chicken to the soup. It's just heating up. Now, this is kind of where I would say, okay, am I going to have it in the next day or few days, or do I want to freeze it? Because I personally like to not freeze it with noodles or rice or anything like that. I'll make that the night of, and it tastes a little bit fresher, I find. So great point to just stop, figure out what you've got in the fridge, if you're going to be cooking that or not. and then go from there.
So what all went into this soup?
So this is a really simple soup. It is the corn, peas, carrots, parsley now, the chicken, of course, and chicken stock that you can, so sometimes I have chicken stock that I've made on my own. This time I didn't, so I just used some store-bought, and salt, pepper seasoning. And then let me just get a bowl and I'll show you what it looks like. This time, since I have some noodles, I will go ahead and use that. So again, if you had your noodles already done, I'm just going to cut them up since it is for a soup. Tricky to get these long
What a
ones
great
on
way
spoon.
to use up leftover noodles.
Exactly, yeah. Boom. And then we just throw our soup over it. There you are. Nice, warm bowl of soup for the winter.
Perfect. Wow.
Great. Yeah. So.
Well, you know what, Marina? Honestly, this has just been phenomenal. The fact that, not once did I see, well, I guess outside of the very first meze platter, not once did I see, a chicken breast. Everything was merged into, the dish, and it didn't look like chicken again. 5 different ways, prepped beforehand. The case size being 24 chicken breasts. You have a family of 4. Half of it just did 5 meals. That's phenomenal. It really is. I just love the whole concept of being able to do these 5 meals. Now, if people want to see the dishes that you did, this recording will be on our YouTube channel afterwards. So Sysco Canada's YouTube channel, you can find it there, as well as our Facebook. You'll be able to find it there as well. And then next week we have another session coming up on December 3rd at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time with Ben and Chef Michael from Alberta, Canada. They will be doing up some dishes for you as well. Marina, this has been fantastic. I know that the chicken tacos are probably in my near future, and I can't wait to hear from you tomorrow, because the rest of the day you'll probably have food coma from eating all this.
It's true. I know. I'm like, they're in your near future. They're in my immediate future. Yeah, it's like lunchtime now. Yeah. Thank you so much. I really
that's
enjoyed
amazing.
doing
Thank
this
you
with
so much. For everybody that has joined us today, this is the very first Sysco at Home virtual cooking class. We're looking forward to doing these a few times per month, just to bring you different ideas when you're buying premium bulk groceries. Sometimes it's overwhelming. You look at the case size and you're like, what am I going to do with all this? It goes very quickly. Think about how often you go to the grocery store and how much you're spending. And proteins is definitely an area that you can save a lot of money by buying in bulk and enjoy restaurant quality for your family at home. So thank you again. Sysco at Home virtual cooking classes brought to you by Sysco.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.